Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. A warm welcome from my side to today's session of Advance Available to Promise. So my name is Sujit Acharya. I am part of SAP's Digital Supply Chain Solution Management Organization, and I am responsible as the solution owner for the ATP topic. So today we are going to discuss about Advanced ATP, and this is going to be the flow of today's discussion. So first, we are going to have a brief overview of SAP solution strategy for digital supply chain. And then we will talk about some of the business challenges in the area of order promising and how advanced ATP comes into the rescue to handle those challenges. Then we will talk about the highlights of some of the features of advanced ATP, and we will focus on that, okay, what is coming in the 2021 release and why do we think that, okay, 2021 release of advanced ATP is going to be the most significant game changer in the area of order promising for our customers. And we will have a short offline demo of one of those functionalities as well. We will also talk about advanced ATP positioning, that, okay, where we should position this solution and how we should enable our customers to take the right decision of when and how to deploy advanced ATP functionality in their organization. We will also talk about the roadmap because not all of the functionalities of advanced ATP that we envision to be part of the module are available yet. Some of them are coming in future. So with the roadmap, you know that, okay, when you can start your projects. And also we will have some links for you where to find more information and others. And towards the end, we can have a round of question and answer. So let's talk about SAP solution strategy for digital supply chain. So many of you probably are already aware of when we talk about intelligent enterprise. So there are different layers of intelligent that constitute the intelligent enterprise. We have, of course, the BTP or business technology platform at the bottom, on top of which actually all the different applications are put. And it has two aspects, of course, the intelligent suite and the industry cloud, and of course our supply chain planning, logistics, manufacturing, and all those supply chain elements, the digital supply chain elements, are part of the intelligent suite. And then we have the business network where we can perform the business processes in our cloud platform. So when we talk about the digital supply chain, one of the scenarios that we talk the most is the design to operate space, right? So from the product design to manufacture, to planning the product, to manufacture, and then deliver, and finally operate some of those devices, right? So that is what we talk about in digital supply chain. So as you see that, okay, we have all those different aspects of supply chain in our in this big wheel of supply chain that we see here: design, manufacture, deliver, and operate. And connecting all of them is our planning aspect, and encompassing them, we have the business network aspect. So, but today, since we are talking about advance available to promise, that falls into the deliver section. So if we expand the deliver section or the logistics section, so this is what we get. So we get 5 different value scenarios that we get in deliver section or logistics section: transportation management, logistics business network, warehouse management, yard logistics, and of course order promising. And in the order promising, we have advanced ATP. So let's look at what are the challenges, business challenges, that order promising is endeavoring to solve. So first one is order promise dates, right? So that is the primary objective of order promising. And what we have seen that, okay, 69% of the customers are less likely to shop with a retailer in the future if an item they purchased is not delivered within the 2 days of the date of promise, right? So naturally, when you are ordering something in Amazon or Flipkart or any of the e-commerce website, they come up with a date that, okay, when you can expect the product to be delivered at your place. And probably a little bit delay is okay with you. But if it is more than 2 days, and if you have to multiple times chase that, okay, where is my order? Where is my order? Then naturally next time, very unlikely you are going to use the same platform to purchase more products. And this is more in case for B2B business as well. So inaccuracy in the order promise date is a big challenge for many of our customers. And when the supply is less than the demand, then naturally you as a customer, as a manufacturer, you cannot fulfill the requirement of all your customers. So then you need to prioritize, and based on your business goals, you need to see that, okay, which customer orders need to be confirmed and which can be delayed, right? So that is where you have to do it in real time to check that, okay, which orders should be confirmed immediately, which orders can be delayed, and so on. The next big challenge in the order promising comes in inventory management. Many times it happens that, okay, if a sales order comes for a particular location and there is a stock out situation in that location, then that sales order gets unfulfilled, remains unfulfilled. However, at the same time, there will be a lot of stocks available in a nearby location. So how do customers can orchestrate their entire network in order to fulfill that requirement? That is a big challenge when it comes to order promising. Then comes the real-time order confirmation. Of course, most of the customers need real-time order confirmation. I have experience in going into a call center for a big manufacturing company, and I see that, okay, the call center employees are taking the orders online. The different retailers are calling the call center and posting their orders. And during these calls, most of the times I have seen that, okay, the vendors, they demand, give us confirmation now itself that, okay, when and in what quantity can you deliver your product. So that means a real-time order confirmation is of paramount importance for all those customers. And finally, when we do the order promising, it is not only about product availability. There are other constraints, other supply chain constraints that actually restrict the product availability. Let's say you have enough stock at your warehouse, but there are no transportation capacity left. There are no trucks standing in front of your warehouse that can carry the product stock to your customer. So even if you have stocks, even if the product is available, but you cannot still promise to your customer that, okay, whether you can deliver it or not. So when you are doing delivery of your products, so not only you should consider the allocations, the quota, the profitability, but also other supply chain constraints like transportation, production, and so on. So you see that order promising is not a very simple problem to handle, because there are a lot of different challenges, a lot of different supply chain constraints that come as an obstacle to order promising, right? So when everything goes on fine, when your supply chain planning, your logistics planning, your procurement planning, everything goes on fine, then of course you do not have many issues. However, as Mike Tyson once said, that, okay, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face. So all your plan goes awry when a pandemic situation like COVID comes. And at that point of time, because of excessive buying or panic buying, you see your products are out of your shelf very quickly, and you do not know, and you have a lead time of your production. You do not know how you can meet the consumer demands. That happened for hand sanitizers and toilet papers last year, and that is right now happening for life-saving drugs and vaccines this year. And not only you see that, okay, the products or the commodities that are directly impacted by COVID pandemic, but also you see that is happening with all kind of products that are being manufactured uh, in the current times. I have not discussed with a single supply chain professional in the last 12 months who have not expressed their concern that, okay, how their supply chain has changed permanently after this COVID situation. And this is the new reality. And we need to accept that this reality is going to continue. And we should be ready that, okay, how we can handle such kind of unexpected surge or dip in demand of the products, right? And that is where, of course, there are multiple ways of solving this problem. There is no one panacea that can solve all the elements of the world. So supply chain has multiple problems and also has multiple solutions. We are going to handle one of those problems using our advanced ATP functionality. And let's discuss how. So before we go into the details of what is advanced ATP and the different functionalities of advanced ATP, let's talk about the solution strategy of advanced ATP here. So what is advanced ATP? Advanced ATP is that, okay, whenever the demand element like a sales order or a stock transfer order come into the system, it requires the stock information that, okay, when can I get the stock of a particular product and of the particular quantity at my desired location. That is what these demand elements are asking the system. The system looks at the warehouse stocks, the production order, the future supply elements, and then conforms these demand elements, right? So that is what ATP does. However, if the supply is less than the demand, or if suddenly we see a surge of demand because of panic buying like we saw last year, then the customer has to consider their business priorities, profitability, and so on. And that is where advanced ATP comes into picture. So advanced ATP, or this kind of more sophisticated or promising functionality, is not something very new to SAP. We have the predecessor solution of advanced ATP known as APO-GATP. This has been there for more than 20 years now. And those who are familiar with our business suite application, so we know that, okay, in the SAP ECC system, we had the basic ATP functionalities. And in order to use any kind of sophisticated ATP functionalities, customers were asked to use APO-GATP, which is, of course, sitting in a separate box. We have more than 800 customers who have licensed for APO-GATP, and more than 600 of them are currently using APO-GATP. But in 2015-16 timeframe, when we decided that, okay, we are going to rethink about our supply chain planning and execution solutions, right? At that point of time, of course, we said that, okay, we do the APO capabilities are not going to handle all those future supply chain challenges. So we need to come up with a new supply chain planning and execution solution so that all the futuristic requirements of our customers will be fulfilled. And then SAP IBP, or integrated business planning, was born into that discussion. And we have a now full-fledged solution of integrated business planning with 6 modules. But advanced or available to promise, GATP, global available to promise, we decided that, okay, we need to move it closer to our execution system. So we need to, because that was the demand from most of our customers, let's say more than 90% of our customer, they, even if they wanted to use GATP, they couldn't use GATP because it was considered to be a very complex solution. It was sitting outside of SAP ECC box. So they said that, okay, we want to use the advanced ATP functionalities as long as it is part of the core execution system. So we decided that, okay, the right place of ATP should be in the S/4HANA system. So as you can see that, okay, we have decided that, okay, ATP should be technically part of the S/4HANA system, and we need to rebuild the entire ATP solution from scratch in S/4HANA system, so that we will be able to use the existing data, the master data and transaction data that is there in S/4HANA system, so that we do not have to depend on the integration that we used to depend in the business suite world. So of course, we wanted to build our advanced ATP functionality using best of both the world. That means we want to make it as simple as basic ATP, but at the same time, we want to make it have much better performance and more functional depth than what we have in APOG ATP. So that was our idea, that okay, we want to make it simple, because many of our customers have, and also partners have also told that okay, setting up an APO system is not very simple. So whatever new things that you are going to do, it has to be more simple and intuitive. And that was our objective when we built our new solution. We wanted to make it as simple and intuitive as possible. It has to be faster, because not only in the real-time order promising case, but also in the back-order processing case, where customers are doing the confirmation of orders, millions of orders. So it has to be fast. And we are able to achieve that by eliminating the need for any kind of integration and using the same master data and transaction data that are there in the S/4HANA system. It has to be flexible as far as deployment is concerned. It is now available in all 4 deployment options. It is of course available in the on-premise version, in the public cloud version, and in the private cloud version of S/4HANA. Then we need to rethink our ATP processes, because it has to handle the next generation order promising requirements. And last but not the least, it has to be integrated, because order promising is not an independent module. It has to be integrated with all the different cogs of your supply chain. Order promising right now is tightly integrated in your sales and distribution process. As I say that, okay, we do not need any kind of integration. So we built order promising as an extension to your SD processes. It has to also integrate with your supply chain planning processes, because the supply and demand constraint, planning constraint that are coming from your supply chain planning has to act as input to your order promising. It has to also integrate with your manufacturing, especially for customers in the mill and mining, high-tech industry, where they employ make-to-order or assemble-to-order scenarios. Their order promising has to integrate with manufacturing to look at in the system that, okay, even if the stocks are not available, of course, because it is in the make-to-stock scenario, make-to-order scenario, and assemble to order scenario, even if the stocks are not available, then it looks at the system that, okay, and checks that, okay, whether it is capable to confirm that order based on the raw material and components availability, as well as the capacity availability of the work centers that it is going to be produced. And last but not the least, it has to be tightly integrated with your transportation system. Because as I said in my previous example, that, okay, even if you have enough stocks, if you do not have your transportation capacity, and if you do not know what is my optimized transportation route, then your order promising will neither be accurate nor be intelligent. Okay, so what are the value proposition that we are talking about? That, okay, when we talk about order promising, of course, it has to be real time and accurate. So that is the first and basic need for an ATP functionality. It has to be multi-channel, because our customers now are moving more and more different channels of how they are supporting their orders, right? So earlier, only 1 or 2 channels that customers were employing to do their selling, but now with the advent of e-commerce, mobile platform, and so many different channels that are there, the order fulfillment has to be multi-channel. I talked about that, okay, when the supply is less than the demand, then you need to prioritize which and when the customer orders need to be fulfilled. You need to manage the shortages by doing a segmentation and priority-based order confirmation. When your stocks are lying in different locations, then your system has to intelligently source your stocks in order to fulfill the requirements. And of course, there has to be intelligent decision-making tools that should be available at your disposal to make your order confirmation more optimal. So these are the value proposition of advanced ATP. So let's go into the overview of our solution. So yes, so advanced ATP, we envision that, okay, it should provide an end-to-end order promising functionality. So let's go and see that, okay, what are the different functionalities that are currently available and are being developed in the ATP area. So when I talk about advanced ATP, as I said that, okay, we started from scratch developing this functionality inside of S4HANA using the latest S4HANA technologies, as well as using the existing S4HANA master data and transaction data. That means we do not create our own materials, we do not create our own locations, work centers, stock information. We do not create those master data. And also at the same time, we do not have our own transaction data. We use the sales order, the stock transport orders, the warehouse stock information, all these different transaction data that is already there in S4HANA system. We use those data. So since we are building it from scratch, we can take an parallel of how somebody constructs a house. So if you want to construct a 2-floor house, so you need to have a very strong foundation layer. Similarly, there are certain functionalities that we consider to be foundation to advanced ATP. Those are product availability check, backorder processing, product allocations, and ATP scheduling. Similarly, there are cross-industry functionalities, which is, if you go to the ground floor or first floor, you see different cross-industry functionalities that are applicable to all different kind of industry. Alternative-based confirmation or ABC, ATP analytics, interactive ATP, and integrated ATP. Finally, there are industry-specific functionalities. Like in the fashion and retail or wholesale industry, we see there is a huge demand for supply assignment or A-run and supply protection functionalities. In the automotive and high-tech industry that use are heavily dependent on the spare parts, they need supersession and multi-level ATP. In the mill mining and IMNC industries, we see that, okay, they are heavily dependent on the make-to-order scenarios, so they need something known as supply creation-based confirmation. And similarly, in the CP life sciences and chemical industry, they need batch characteristic support, self-life ATP, and so on. So we are going to discuss about all these functionalities, and some of the functionalities are in the roadmap. Not all of this that you see here are available. Some of them are available. Some of them are part of the roadmap. We will discuss in the roadmap. However, I just wanted to give you a complete picture of how we are developing the different functionalities part of advanced ATP. We are going to discuss more in details about each one of them. But please note that, okay, even if we have this industry focused functionality that you see in the top, we do not have any industry switch. That means even if we build a particular functionality for keeping in mind a particular kind of industry, however, that functionality can be used by other industries without doing any kind of technical switch or license switch and so on. For example, I have seen that, okay, even if we have built supply protection functionality specifically for fashion and retail industry, but a lot of consumer products and life sciences industry actually are eager to use supply protection functionalities. So I will talk about what is supply protection when I talk about the details of each of the functionalities. Okay, so let's go into each of these functionality one by one. The first one is product availability check. Product availability check is the basic ATP check that we all know. That, okay, the moment we say ATP available to promise, the idea comes into mind that, okay, whenever there is a demand, the system should look into the supply elements, the existing supply elements and the future supply elements, and provide a confirmation that, okay, if it can be fulfilled on the desired date at the desired location in the desired quantity, or if not, then when can it be fulfilled by the future stock information. So this product availability, and this has to be in the real time. That means whenever you are creating a sales order, this confirmation has to happen at that point of time itself. This is known as product availability check. And to be honest, there is not much difference between what we have here and the basic product availability check, except some technical improvement here, which makes it faster, especially for orders that have multiple line items. However, I do not see there is much difference between the product availability check, the standard product availability check between basic and advanced. However, the product availability check in advanced ATP is not working independently. It also supports the product allocation, the supply protection, and alternative based confirmation that I am going to talk in the next slides. So the new thing in the product availability check is something known as review availability check result screen. This particular feature is not available in basic ATP. When I am showing the demo of the new feature coming in 2021, I will also give you a glimpse of how the review availability check result screen looks like. This is a new app which gives you a complete display of all the availability situation of all the line items in the system. And also you can drill down to see that, okay, what are the different aspects or of checks that happen during this particular availability check. So this is about product availability check. The next functionality is backorder processing. If product availability check is an online ATP check, the backorder processing you can consider an offline ATP check. When an online ATP check is happening, of course, you are doing it one by one, first come, first serve basis. But there are many customers who collect all these different orders. Let's say they receive these orders in the EDI format. And then at the end of the day, they confirm these orders en masse. But when they are confirming this order, they are considering the stock availability, business priorities, urgency, profitability, product allocations, quotas, and so on. And so that is called backorder processing. Backorder does not mean only backlog orders. It is not only doing the confirmation of the orders that are in the past. Backorder means all the orders that are there in the system catering to a specific selection criteria. So that is what we call backorder processing. So in the APO GATP world, backorder processing is also there. And also in the basic ATP, we have the functionality known as rescheduling, where you can do similar functionalities. However, the new backorder processing is very different of how you can configure it in order to treat different orders differently during the backorder processing. So we employ a methodology known as requirement segmentation. So there are 5 different classifications known as win, gain, redistribute, fill, and lose, how we can segregate the different orders to be treated differently by the system. Let me explain that, okay, what these different segments mean. In the win segment, you will put all those orders that needs to be fully confirmed on time. Those are your win segment. So for example, all the orders in the past and all the orders from your priority 1 customers for today, you want them to be fully confirmed. So you want to put those in the win segment. In the gain segment, you will put those orders that can gain during this backorder processing, but cannot deteriorate. That means if a sales order of 100 quantity has come for a particular product, and the previous confirmation during the product availability check or during the previous backorder processing was 80. So during this backorder processing, 80 can become 90, but 80 cannot become 79. It can only gain. In the redistribute segment, as you can guess, it can gain, can lose. That means 80 can become 90 and 80 can become 70. You can imagine that, okay, your APO GATP is backorder processing or your rescheduling functionality of basic ATP has only one segment, and that is the redistribute segment. In the fill segment, we can put all those orders that will lose if required, but will not gain. That means 80, if required, can become 50, but 80 will not become 81. And in the lose segment, you will put all those sales orders that will lose all its confirmation during the backorder processing. So suppose there is a transportation, you know that there is a strike that is going on in a particular region, or you know that, okay, certain customers have not paid their dues. So you can put those orders into this lose segment, whereas they will lose all their confirmation previously confirmed orders, and those quantities can be redistributed to the win gain redistribute segments. So as you can see here, win and lose segments have the fixed criteria. That means win should be 100% confirmed, lose should be 0% confirmed. But the gain, redistribute, and fill, where you can select the way you want, right? So you can create a selection criteria that, okay, all the priority 1 and priority 2 customers which are due this week are part of my gain segment. Or you can say that, okay, all the orders coming from, let's say Thailand are part of my redistribute segment. Let's say it is a Singaporean based customer, and say that, okay, all the orders coming from Singapore are my gain or win orders, but all the customers coming from Thailand, because I know that there is always going to be a transportation delay, so I can put that in the redistribute segment. So you can decide that, okay, how you put these orders in the different segments, and you can also do the sorting of those orders inside those segments. So we have this easy to use select option tool to configure the backorder processing segment. We have customizable filter and sorter for each of these BOP segments. We have now introduced recently simulation capabilities for BOP segments. That means before you are running the backorder processing, you can simulate which orders should be selected for each of the segments. Then you have a Fiori based BOP results monitor. That means once you have run the backorder processing, then you can see the results of that in an aggregated and disaggregated manner using the BOP monitor. We have automated exception handling. That means suppose you have given an impossible task to your backorder processing. For example, you have said, let's say you have 10,000 orders that needs to be processed. And out of that 10,000, you have said 5,000 of my orders are in my win category. And these 5,000 orders need to be fully confirmed. But you have enough stocks only to confirm 4,000 orders. Then the backorder processing fails, because you are telling the system that, okay, these 5,000 orders need to be fully confirmed, whereas you have only stocks left in the system for 4,000 orders. So then you can have a plan B. You say if my backorder processing fails because of unavailability of stocks, then my plan B is that, okay, I will only cater to the orders coming from a particular type of customer from a particular region. So immediately your 5,000 of initial selection, let's say, becomes 3,000. And you say that, okay, this 3,000 needs to be fully confirmed. The other 2,000, even if they are not fully confirmed, it is okay for me. So this is a plan B, and this can be automatically triggered. So let's say you are running a backend processing for 10,000 orders, which takes, let's say, 30 minutes to run, and if it fails, that at the end of 30 minutes, let's say you see that, okay, my run has failed, and then again you have to rerun. Instead of that, you do the exception handling automatically. So that means within that 30 minutes, if it fails, then it automatically triggers the fallback variant, and then it does the next round of backend processing. And of course, backend processing support product allocation, alternative based confirmation, supply assignment run, and supply protection. So this is about backend processing. Next functionality is product allocation. Product allocation, you can imagine that, okay, it is like a maximum cap that you are putting for each of the sales order. Let's take an example. Let's take an example of toilet paper itself. Let's say you are manufacturer of toilet papers, and you have 100 rolls of toilet paper in your warehouse, to make it very, very simple. And now let's say that you are getting orders from different customers, and you are confirming them real time. So let's say you have two customers, A cart and B cart. And A cart is your priority customer, and B cart is your second priority customer. Now B cart places an order for 70 quantity. And you see that, okay, I have 100 in stock, and you confirm 70. 5 minutes later, A cart, which is a priority customer for you, puts an order of 50 quantity. But now you can only give him 30 because already you have given 70 to B cart. How do you handle this scenario? That to create an upper limit for B cart, you say that, okay, B cart cannot take more than 40 on any day, on any given day. So if you create an upper cap for B cart, so think in the same scenario, B cart puts an order of 70 quantity. Even if you have stocks of 100, but you have seen the upper limit saying that I cannot give you more than 40, so I will confirm 40 to you. And the remaining 30, I can give it to you next day, if my stocks are coming the next day. But same time, A cart puts an order of 50 quantity. If you have not defined any upper limit for A cart, now A cart can take 50 quantity. So this is a way you can restrict your big customers from taking up everything and drying up the stocks for your smaller customer. So this can be not defined by customer. You can define it at any level, right? So you can say that, okay, let's say you know that, okay, your north region has the big customers, they take up everything, and then your south customers do not get anything, right? So you can define it by region, you can define it by order type, you can define it by any different ways that you want for product allocation, and that is called product allocation or sales constraint. And this can be defined in a time horizon manner, time phased manner, time bucket manner. For example, you say that, okay, it can be weekly, monthly, daily, or whatever. So you can say you can put a quantity per week, and different week can have different quantities, right? So you can create the product allocation in a time continuous manner, in a bucketed way. You can also have a logical OR relationship. That means you say that, okay, let's say an order comes, a customer order comes for a particular customer of yours, and you have defined a maximum limit of that. But at the same time, the same customer is also part of a bigger league, right? Bigger group of customer. or a pool of customer. So you can also define additional quantities for those pool of customer. Let's say you have total 100 quantity and you say that, okay, this customer cannot take more than 50, but if this customer is part of a pool, then he can take additional 20. So you can create a logical OR relationship between your product allocation. You can also have a logical AND relationship. That means there are different product allocation you define. For example, you define your product allocation for individual customers, but also you define another product allocation for a region, and the combination or logical AND relationship between them will be the final confirmation quantity. For example, let's say you have put 50 quantity per day for a particular customer, saying that, okay, this customer cannot take more than 50. But at the same time, you have said that, okay, this region cannot take more than 500 per week. And when a sales order comes for that customer from that region, it not only checks that, okay, how much quantity I am allowed to take per day, but also I check that, okay, how much quantity I'm allowed to take from the region point of view for that week. And if both of these conditions are satisfied, then only I can get my confirmation. And this is called logical AND relationship. So this is as far as sales constraint or product allocations are concerned. We also have capacity constraint. This comes in handy in two scenarios. Let's say your customer is working only in a make to order scenario. So that means there is no available stocks, right? So there is no stocks that can be confirmed from. However, you know that, okay, you are producing, let's say 100 quantity of a particular product every day, right? And when the sales orders are coming, you can confirm based on this capacity constraint, saying that, okay, one order, first order comes and he says that, okay, I need 50, and you know that, okay, I am producing 100, you give 50 to that guy. The second order comes, says that I need 70, and you see that, okay, now 50 has been already taken, there is only 50 left, so I will give you 50 today and the remaining 20 the next day, right? So you can create a capacity constraint for your production scenario. You can also have this capacity constraint as an extension to your transportation capacity. For example, let's say you have enough stock in your warehouse, right? So let's say you have unlimited stock in your warehouse, whereas you know that, okay, every day one truck goes out of your warehouse and it only takes 100 quantity from location 1 to location 2, right? So that is the total quantity that it can take. It cannot take more than 100 quantity. So even if you have enough stock, let's say a customer orders 150, even if you have enough stock, but first day you give 100 based on the transportation capacity that you have, and the second day you give 50 from the next day's transportation capacity. So that is the two ways you can use capacity allocation. So all these functionalities are available in Advanced ATP. The third functionality that I want to talk, or sorry, the fourth functionality that I want to talk about, alternative based confirmation. This is the much needed functionality for many of our customers. We heard in the previous solution of APOG ATP, this was known as rules based ATP. In simple terms, if a particular product is not available at a location, then what is my alternative? So my alternative is either give it from other locations, other plant, other distribution centers, and so on, and that is known as location substitution, or give it a different type of product which is very, very similar, which you define in the system, saying that, okay, this product can be replaced by that product. For example, somebody asking for a 2-liter carton of milk, you do not have 2-liter cartons of milk there, but you have two 1-liter cartons of milk, and so you can give 2 1-liter cartons of milk there, right? So that is known as product substitution. So in the latest release, 2020 release, we have location substitution. The product substitution is coming in this year, and that is what I'm going to demo next. However, let me explain that, okay, how the substitution works. The substitution works very differently from APOG ATP. In APOG ATP, the substitution is a sequential substitution. That means if it is not there in location 1, go to location 2. If it is not there in location 2, go to location 3, then to 4, then to 5, and wherever you find the first match, stop there and confirm. Whereas this is called first fit model. Whereas in advanced ATP, we employ something known as best fit model. That means if the product is not available in location 1, which is the desired location, then instead of going immediately to location 2, check all the possible locations where I can confirm it from. And based on the criteria that I select, for example, I say that, okay, give me from the place where I can get full confirmation, or give me from a place, even if I do not get full confirmation, but at least I get something on time, or give me from a place where I can get the maximum amount of quantity in the earliest time, right? So there are max earlier confirmation, full confirmation, on time confirmation. There are different determination rules which actually helping you to choose the best possible location instead of going in a sequential manner. And of course, we have partial confirmations. That means if a stock is not available in one location alone, then multiple locations can fulfill that particular requirement. If requested quantity is 100, none of the locations have 100, one location has 80, the other location has 20, so you can confirm it from 2 different locations. So we will see that in a demo, which will be more helpful to understand. The next functionality that I want to talk about is supply assignment run. This is predominantly used in the fashion industry. And in the fashion industry, this functionality is known as A-run. The idea of A-run is actually to create a fixed pegging between the supply element and the demand element. So ATP does always a dynamic or soft pegging. It only does the pegging at a quantity level. It does not tell the system which exact stock is going to be pegged to which demand. It does not tell that system, right? So it changes with time. For example, let's say you have confirmed a particular order based on a stock, based on a purchase order or a stock transport order that is coming to your system, coming to our warehouse in 3 days time. You run the backorder processing once again, but you see that, okay, some other stocks are already arrived. So then you can confirm this order earlier as well, right? Because it's a soft pegging. However, in the fashion industry, they need some kind of hard pegging between the supply element and the demand element. That means if I am confirming, or if I am manufacturing a particular product, the way I am manufacturing that, I am confirming that order for that purchase requisition or stock transport order. Then after the goods received, after it becomes a stock, I only need to confirm from that order, that stock. I cannot confirm it from anything else. So there is a fixed pegging between your supply element and a demand element. This is known as supply assignment run. And this is very, very interesting for fashion industry. However, I see that many of the life sciences customer are also interested in using this functionality because they want to also use the sorting criteria of supply element in the for the stock, and then create a fixed pegging between the supply element and demand element. So I see that, okay, supply assignment is one functionality that is not only relevant for the fashion industry, but also for the life sciences industry, because they also can use a particular functionality known as segmentation, which is of course not available outside of the fashion industry. Okay. So the next functionality that I want to talk about is supply protection. Again, this is a functionality that was developed for fashion industry. However, I see that, okay, the scope of this functionality is definitely beyond fashion industry, and consumer products, life sciences, high-tech industry are also interested in using supply protection. So what is supply protection? We talked in product allocation how you can create a maximum cap for different customers, let's say, saying that, okay, one customer cannot take more than 50 quantity per day, but there is no minimum guarantee, right? Imagine a scenario that, okay, you have two customers, same example, A cart and B cart. And you say A cart cannot take more than 100 quantity per day, B cart cannot take more than 100 quantity per day. That is your product allocation. But ironically, you have total stock that is there in your warehouse is 100. Now A cart comes and says that, okay, I need 100. And system says that, okay, product allocation is 100, availability is 100, and confirms that 100. Now B cart comes and says that, okay, I need 50. Even if the product allocation is there, fine, but he cannot take anything because there is no minimum guarantee that was there for B cart. With the supply protection, you can create a minimum guarantee for different elements of your system. For example, it need not be at the customer level. It can be at a region level. It can be a sales personnel level. It can be country level or whatever. So that way, you are providing a minimum guarantee. It is very, very similar to how you book a table before arriving with your friends for a birthday party at a restaurant, right? So you call up the restaurant saying that, okay, I'm coming with 20 of my friends. Please reserve a table for me at this time, right? So even if I come before you to that restaurant and I say that, okay, I can see a table is there, can you give it to me? The restaurant manager says that, sorry, it is already reserved for somebody else. And that is how supply protection works. Actually, it is providing a minimum guarantee to different characteristics, right? The characteristic can be customer, can be region, can be sales personnel, and can be anything. However, as you can see, there is a fear of how this could be misused, right? So suppose you create an unrealistic reservation for different elements, and you might lose business. So it is extremely important that, okay, how you are defining your supply protection and your product allocation. So imagine that, okay, you have now a lot of ways of configuring your business priorities. You have product allocation where you can provide a maximum cap. You have supply protection where you can put a minimum guarantee. You have product availability check, which checks in the system, and you have alternative based confirmation, which checks not only in the warehouse, but also in multiple other warehouses, right? And combination of that, all of these things happen in real time, in a fraction of a second, right? But then you need to ensure that, okay, the sanctity of the data, so that means product allocation data and supply protection data has to have the sanctity that, okay, it should not lock each other, right? So that is where you need to plan both your product allocation and supply protection. And I will explain that, okay, how the planning is done in separate system. Of course, planning of this is not part of advanced ATP because this planning is part of your supply chain planning. And if you remember, I talked about how order promising has to be integrated with your supply chain planning. But apart from that, of course, we have ATP analytics. We have started our ATP analytics with product allocation. So right now we have product allocation analytics. But in future, when I discuss the roadmap, I will show you that, okay, how the different analytics features are going to be planned. Similarly, we have interactive ATP. That means suppose you have run an ATP check, then you run the interactive ATP in the release for delivery app, where you can manually change the confirmation before creating the deliveries. However, this is one of the first transactions that we created 4 or 5 years back. This has some limitation. For example, it cannot you cannot change any orders which has gone through a product allocation, and also it has some limitations. It does not allow you to do mass changes and so on. However, we are going to have a more detailed and more comprehensive transaction known very similar to eBOPI as in we had in APOG ATP previously. So these are some of the screenshots that you see for advanced ATP. So as you can see that, okay, all of them are Fiori. And the reason we have to build everything in Fiori, because as I said, advanced ATP is available in all 4 deployment options, especially it is available in public cloud version. And in the public cloud, we have to build everything in Fiori. Right, so this is some of the screenshots. However, I will show you a demo where you can see the latest review availability check result screen. So what is coming in 2021 on-premise release, and why do I think it is the most significant release that we have done in the last 4 or 5 years? Because of this alternative-based confirmation. So we had product plant substitution, but the plant substitution was not definable by the customer. Now, in the 2021 release, we will have both plant substitution and product substitution with their own master data. And how does it work? Whenever there is a sales order that is coming into the system, then we have an alternative control or substitution strategy. In the alternative control, you are telling the system that, okay, whether to react or whether to do an ABC for that sales order or not, right? You can define saying that, okay, if the order comes from customer A, then look for alternatives. But if it comes from customer B, which is not a priority customer for me, do not look for alternative, right? So that is where alternative control comes into picture. Then we have substitution strategy. That means if you remember, we talked about best fit model instead of first fit, the max earlier confirmation, on time confirmation. So you can create a substitution strategy that, okay, whether you are allowing partial substitution or whether you are allowing inline substitution and so on, you can create in the substitution strategy. The next is list of all allowed substitutions, which is the substitution master data. And then ATP results of all the substitutes. The ATP system, ATP application finds out the results of all possible substitutions. And finally, it confirms or it chooses the best alternative and confirms the order. Okay. So before I go into the demo, I just want to tell you that, okay, how complex the substitution the data could be. That, okay, you can model different kind of substitution. It can be 1:1. That means A can be replaced by B. You can have fully interchangeable substitution. A can be substituted by B, B can be substituted by A. By the way, all these are both applicable to product substitution and location substitution. You can also have 1:n substitution. That means A can be substituted either by B or by C. You can have status like A can be substituted by B, B can be substituted by C, C can be substituted by D. However, you know that, okay, C and D is in a trial basis and you do not want to activate it yet. You can create an exit indicator. That means A can be substituted by B, and if you put an exit, then it does not go further. But if you start with a sales order from B, then it can go further to C. It can be context. For example, A can be substituted by B in plant A, but in plant B, A can be substituted by C. Similarly, you can put reasons code, which will help you to understand the results better. You can create sequence. If you put sequence, it will be very, very similar to what we have in APO GATP. So you know that, okay, A can go either be substituted by C or B, but you want to first check in C and then go to B. Yeah, so then you can create a sequence. You can have a leading indicator to put where is the open quantity going to be. You can have validities, right? So A can be substituted by B, but only from November onwards. You can have exclusion, saying that, okay, all the plants from Singapore can be part of the substitution except plant B, which is exclusively manufacturing for Malaysia, let's say. You can have conversion factor. Yeah, 1 liter, 2 liter cartons of milk can be replaced by 2 1 liter cartons of milk. You can create groups saying that, okay, A can be substituted by B or C. In group 1, A can be substituted by D, and then these groups can be attached to different context. So there are multiple ways of creating this substitution. Let's look at the system that, okay, how it behaves. Yeah. So first, if you remember, I said that, okay, you have to create a control. So if you see the alternative based control, you have to first create a control here. The moment you create control here, you say that in this particular example, you see that it says create this or go for this substitution strategy only if the ship to party and sold to party is AK cost 01 and the material number is this one. You can go to another substitution strategy if there is a different customer for a different material. You can define that. And also this the schema that, okay, whether you are defining it for a customer or whether you are defining it for a country, that also can be configured. So the moment you go inside, you come here and you say that in this particular substitution strategy, I say that, okay, it is going both plant and product substitution one after the other. So that means first I will look for alternative plants, but then if there are no stocks available in alternative plants, then I will go for alternative product in the same plant. So that is how I go for substitutions. And this is my building rule saying that max earlier confirmation and so on. So this is very, very easy to configure that. Then I have the master data. So you have location substitution master data and product substitution master data, very, very similar. You have substitution groups, you have created substitution regions, you can manage exclusions, you can create substitution control, you can manage substitutions and access sequences. So in this case, let's say goes to manage substitution locations. Here you can see the predecessor plant, the substitute plant, and the context here, the sales organization, distribution channel, and so on. So if you go into the details of that, you can see that, okay, what is my predecessor substitution? What is my successor substitution? And also you can see the view graph of that. I will show you the graph in a second. When I come to the product substitution, very, very similar as you have in the location substitution. We have the predecessor product, substitute product, and for the different plant, which is the context here, and the validity, and so on. You can go into the details of that, where you can see the different indicators. I explained about the lead indicator, exit indicator, the sequence, right? So you remember we talked about sequence, the validities, and so on. So you can create that. And also you see the predecessor product, successor product, and so on. And you can, the moment you go into the view graph, you can see the entire network of your product substitution or the location substitution in this kind of graphical manner as well. So this is coming in 2021 release. So now let's try to create a sales order and see how it works. So suppose you create an order. So this is a familiar VA01 transaction, right? So you create an order here, and the moment you start the order, so now you put the material for this particular customer, AK Cust 01, and you put a material here, you put the order quantity. The moment you do that, and out of all the big VA01 or 02 or 03 transaction, the button that belongs to ATP is this one, right? Check availability. The moment you click that, now a new screen comes up, review availability check result screen. In this screen, you can see all the line items together. In this particular sales order, I have only one line item, but if you have line item 20 or 30, you can see that in this screen as well. And this first screen gives you a glimpse of the overall situation. So in this particular example that you see that, okay, I wanted garden comfort chair from Amsterdam of 200 pieces on 27th of April. But I see that, okay, only 175 pieces are confirmed and not from Amsterdam alone. So you see that is there is a strike through here, and you have written multiple plants. That means it is going from multiple plants. You see 150 coming from Amsterdam and the other 25 is coming from Warsaw. You can also go into the details of that. You can see in the left-hand side, you can see all the requirements. In the right-hand side, you can see the chosen confirmation. And also if there are multiple confirmations possible from multiple different strategy, you can do the manual selection of different strategy here as well. You can go to the intermediate result and you see that, okay, how confirmation has happened, right? So you wanted 200 pieces is not available in one plant. So alternative based confirmation is triggered, and you see that, okay, in plant 1, there is 25 places, in plant 2 there is 150 pieces, and that is how the confirmation is happening. Suppose you go back, then of course there are 2 sub items that has been created here. But let's say instead of 200 I put 500, and I have then the results that I see that, okay, now out of 500, 236 pieces have been confirmed. And not only I see multiple plants, but also I see multiple products, right? Because in a future date, I have multiple products that can be confirmed, right? So if I go into the details of that, I can see that, okay, multiple brands and multiple products are there, and I see all the confirmations here. And now I can see how the confirmation has happened, and I can expand the graph, and I can see that, okay, now how the different products, let's say Garden Comfort, AK02 and AK01, I have 150 pieces and 225 pieces. And let's say in the premium and luxury, so I am introducing two new type of products which are replacing the old product. And of course, I have planned for 49 and 12 pieces from the same plant. And that is how I am getting the confirmation. So this is only showing the confirmation from the availability point of view. I do not have an example where I have also put allocations. So if you see allocations, you can see the details of how the allocation has acted upon the confirmation in this review availability check result screen itself, right? So you can see now that, okay, you have all the different chairs, and also you see more quantity, order quantity here, because the remaining open quantities are put in the original requested product. So that is how you see that, okay, how availability check result screen is actually giving you a complete overview of how ATP check has been carried out, considering in this particular case ABC, but also if you have supply protection and if you have product allocation, you can see that results, at least for product allocation, is definitely coming in 2021. I need to check that, okay, whether supply protection results can be displayed in the 2021 release or not. But of course, even if it is not 2021, but then it is planned to be part of the review availability check result screen itself. Okay, so that is a very, very short demo of what is coming in 2021. So let's go into the ATP positioning. So this we have already discussed, right? So we have our predecessor solution of APO, Advanced Planning and Optimization. And 6-7 years back, we decided that, okay, we needed a new supply chain planning solution, and where IBP came into picture. And we need to think about what we are talking about. Our APO customer, we have more than 3,000 APO customers, right? And all the big customers are APO customers of ours. So we need to create a strategy for them. So of course, demand planning and supply network planning has moved to IBP demand and IBP response and supply. Again, functionality wise, there is no technical migration possible. Similarly, also we wanted to build both PPDS and GATP inside of S4HANA. We managed to build advanced ATP, but PPDS is being the biggest module of all those four. And to build it, it will take years again to build such kind of big module. So PPDS is the only exception which is put directly into S4HANA as it is. And of course, there are additional enhancement as far as simplicity, usability, and integration, and all these things are concerned. But all the other three, DP, SNP, and GATP, have their new modules: IBP demand, IBP response and supply, and advanced ATP. So this question always come to you and to us that, okay, what is the difference between basic ATP and advanced ATP? Those customers who are in the on-premise version of S4HANA, they get old ECC ATP as the basic ATP, right? And the whatever I discussed today, all the advanced ATP functionalities are part of advanced ATP. Even if it is technically part of S4HANA, you need to have some customization. You just need to check the customization. You need to assign the roles, and then ATP works. But license point of view, advanced ATP is a separate license. Okay, this is on-premise version. In the cloud version, and when I say cloud, I'm not talking about private cloud. Private cloud and on-premise are same. Only in the public cloud version of S4HANA, there is no ECC ATP available. The ECC ATP is not there in public cloud. So we have given the product availability check and the backend processing of advanced ATP free of cost in the as the basic ATP in the public cloud version. But the remaining stuff like product allocation, ABC, and all those remaining stuff are part of advanced ATP license. That's in the public cloud. Private cloud is very same as what we have in the on-premise mode. That means the basic ATP of ECC is part of enterprise license, but advanced ATP is a separate license. This is also a question that comes many times to us that, okay, how it is integrated with IBP response and supply. We have many customers who are actually using both IBP response and supply and advanced ATP. As I said before, when we talk about allocation and also supply protection, there is planning and there is execution. The planning of supply protection as well as product allocation has to be done in the planning system. And supply chain, for supply chain planning, IBP is our planning system, right? So the product allocation planning as well as supply protection planning can be done in IBP, and those come to S/4HANA using the standard APIs, and those will be respected in S/4HANA during an online ATP check or during backend processing. This is exactly what some of our customers are already doing. So please note that IBP and advanced ATP work together. However, it will not work as far as confirmation is concerned. That means ATP confirmation has to happen either in IBP or in S/4HANA. It cannot happen in both the system as of now. In future, we are trying to see any use case where both the system confirmation should happen, but we believe the best possible way, or what most customers do, is that they use IBP as the planning solution and advanced ATP as final confirmation or closer to execution solution. So this is some of the examples that we have. We do not have an official reference yet. However, we are working with several, because it's a new product, we are still under development. You can imagine that, okay, many of our customers who are in the very, very early release, somebody has using in the 1709 release, right, or 1809 release, they're in the very early phase of our advanced ATP, and many of them are trying to upgrade. So I'm sure that, okay, going forward, we will get a lot of reference customer. But some of the examples that I see so here is that, okay, how IBP customers are doing planning in IBP and doing the execution in advanced ATP. I will say at this slides with you, this is a computer hardware and accessories manufacturing company. They're using IBP demand to generate the forecast. And this forecast is coming to advanced ATP, and then they're doing the product allocation management, and ATP online check is happening considering those product allocations. Some of the customer adoption highlights, even if we have a completely new product for the last 4 or 5 years, but we are extremely happy with the progress that we have done as far as customer licensing is concerned. So we have more than 350 customers licensed for advanced ATP in the on-premise version, in the essential, the public cloud version, in the extended version, as well as private cloud version was introduced just last year. And we have some customers already adopting in the private cloud version as well. And of course, in the HANA Enterprise Cloud. And more than one third of them are already using advanced ATP productively. So do not consider, even if we are a new solution, do not consider it is not, does not have a customer base or maturity, especially for the foundation functionalities that we discussed. There are many, it has reached a level of maturity, and our customers can immediately move into advanced ATP. And it is available for all different industry segments. High-tech, consumer product, of course, is our #1 segment. High-tech, life sciences, retail, wholesale, fashion, chemicals, automotive, mill products, and IMC I will be a little bit careful because we do not have the most required functionality for them from the CTP point of view, capability promise, and multi-level ATP point of view. But for other customers, it is absolutely relevant. And mill products and industry, especially those who are using make-to-order scenario, we will have the new functionality that I am going to talk next. And this is not, don't think that this is only available for large customer. We have many customers who are mid and even falling to small. And that's the reason why we have decreased the blocks of license, because we saw that, okay, many of our small customers with revenue very small, let's say 500 million euro per year kind of revenue. Also, these are the customers who are also trying to get advanced ATP and are using advanced ATP, in fact. So that's the reason initially the block size was €1 billion, but now we have reduced it to 50 million euro revenue block size. The advanced ATP is licensed in the revenue metric. So in order to facilitate more and more small customer to use, we have reduced the block sizes so that small customers can use advanced ATP as well. And the biggest selling point of advanced ATP is that, okay, whenever there is an S4HANA project or S4HANA deal is going on, so they need the order promising feature, right? So it is easy wherever there is an S4HANA implementation or deal that is going on. It is very, and especially in the manufacturing segment, it is easy to actually position advanced ATP and implement it. It's not a very complex solution to implement because we have tried our best to make it as simple and as intuitive as possible. It's not a very complex solution, and the customers see the execution results very fast. Unlike the planning solutions where you can wait to get the KPIs, but here in the advanced ATP, you can get the KPIs very, very fast because you can see that, okay, how your accuracy in the order confirmation is increasing and so on. So you can see the results in a very fast manner. So it is very easy to show the value proposition of advanced ATP to all those S4HANA customers. In fact, advanced ATP is used as a motivation for why customers should need to move from ECC to S4HANA, because it provides that unique functional value proposition that our ECC customer need in order to move from ECC to S4, because now advanced ATP is technically part of S4HANA. I just want to repeat once again that same master data, same transaction data, as much as configuration of ECC S4HANA it is using. So it is like just an additional module in your SD or in your PP and so on. So you can use it as an additional module here. And of course, all regions. So we have many customers in APJ. In fact, our some of our biggest customers are coming from APJ, and our first customer, the first customer to go live was from Japan. So there are many customers in APJ who are using advanced ATP. So don't think that, okay, it is only the North American and European customers are the initial users, but we have many customers in APJ who are using advanced ATP as well. Last is, I just want to talk a little bit about our roadmap. Again, if you want to see the official roadmap, I suggest that, okay, please go to roadmaps.sap.com and just search for advanced ATP. It gives you an idea of every quarter what functionality that we are releasing. It just gives you a very, very high level roadmap here. That, okay, we started in 2016. That was the first release of advanced ATP. Again, if you remember the house that I showed, that, okay, we have the foundation layer, the first floor, the cross industry functionality, and the industry specific functionalities. In the foundation layer, means the functionalities has been maturing. It is already matured, I would say 5 years into development, and many of the customers are already using it. Product availability check, backorder processing, product allocation, these three functionality has reached some kind of maturity. And also there are going to be some additional enhancement as far as usability is concerned, performance is concerned, and some new functionalities that will be added like aggregation, EDQA, and so on. Those will be added. Fair share in backorder processing, those will be added in coming time. Interactive ATP, we have the release for delivery app. However, I know that, okay, many customers are demanding for to have a more comprehensive interactive transaction, which we plan to deliver in future. But for the basic needs of interactiveness is already there in the release for delivery app. We have ATP analytics. In that we have product allocation overview, and and also if you are using supply assignment, there are some analytics available there as well. But we are going to have more and more analytics in future. So first we are just waiting for our basic development to be over, and then we can start concentrate on the analytic feature here. And also currently we are evaluating that, okay, how we can enable our analytics in the SAC, in the SAP Analytic Cloud using the BTP platform. So we are also evaluating that. Alternative-based confirmation location substitution is already available, as I said, but with the master data, it is coming in 2021. Alternative-based confirmation product substitution is coming in this year in 2021 on-premise release. But if you're in the cloud, in the public cloud, it's already there, right? It's already there. Both product substitution and location substitution are there already in the cloud. But if you're in the on-premise version, it is coming in the 2021 release. Then the biggest enhancement that we have started this year, beginning of 2021, is an integration with TM. Those customers who have integrated with those customers who have the embedded TM solution in SAP S/4HANA, we want to have an direct integration between ATP and TM so that optimal transportation route as well as transportation load should be considered during the order promising. And this is, we believe this is going to be the biggest game changer in the order promising world that we are going to have, because ATP integrated with TM, I would say that, okay, very, very few of our competitors can have such kind of advanced functionality. We have supply assignment and supply protection coming specially for fashion industry, but as I said, this can be used by other industry as well. And for the mill and mining and so on, so we have this CTP and MATP functionality that we had in APO GATP. This is going to be known as supply creation based confirmation. This is like ATP integration with manufacturing. Initial release will have integration with PPDS, just like we had in the older release. However, our vision is to make it sourcing agnostic. That means supply creation based confirmation will not depend only on PPDS. If wherever you are doing the manufacturing, let's say you are doing it in standard PP or you are using DDMRP or so on, we will be able to integrate with that as well. So that is their plan. So the first pilot release is coming this year, however, with very, very limited number of customers. The first release of supply creation based confirmation will come in 2022. Okay, so these are some of the links that I will share. Last point before I stop the discussion is that, okay, we have a customer and partner community for ATP. I know that, okay, we have this, we conduct quarterly update session for our customer and partners. However, I know that, okay, many of APJ partners, it's difficult from the time zone perspective because it is done in a little bit late hours from the APJ time zone perspective. However, if you are part of this community, you can always listen to the recording. And if you can attend the sessions live, then of course you will be able to ask questions there itself, or you can always ask questions to me. I never, there is no unanswered question in my inbox. I always try to answer all the questions. You can directly send an email to me and I will definitely help you. If you want to be part of that community, we need to have to see that, okay, you need to have a non-disclosure agreement with SAP. You can be part of that community. Just send me an email there. Or if you have any questions, if you know a customer who is going through evaluation of advanced ATP, you can always get back to me and I will be very happy to help you. So yes, so with that, I will stop my presentation. We can stop the recording now, Manmeet, and then we can open the forum for question and answer. So let me, there are already some questions I see in the chat window. I will try to answer those questions. If we have multiple plants where you can deliver products from, can we check where we have stock available and know when our customer can get them? Yes, in the review availability check result screen, you can see, but then we do not have manual substitution yet. In future, before confirmation, you can see the result. Right now, after confirmation, you can see the result that, okay, how because it's an automatic confirmation. But in future, we will enable you to see all the results and then do the confirmation. That is called manual confirmation. That is coming in future. Right now, it is automatic confirmation where you can see that, okay, how the confirmation happened from the multiple plants, but you cannot manually select right now. But in future, you will be able to do that. Next question coming from Siddharth. Are there any scenarios on screen you can share it? It is difficult to relate to your explanation. Okay, so I tried to give a very, very high level overview of some of the functionalities. But yes, I know that, okay, it is difficult to understand each of the scenarios. Siddharth, if you have any specific question, please feel free to get back to me and I can explain any scenario with an example with you, because I was trying to explain the scenarios that has been developed for last 5 years. So there are a lot of functionalities. So yes, I understand that, okay, it can be a little bit difficult to understand if you are completely new to this area. Next question is, how good is performance of advanced ATP? Okay, so this is a very difficult question to answer. Let me try to answer in this way. Advanced ATP uses the same master data and transaction data that is there in S4. So there is no issue with integration, right? So that actually eliminates any kind of issues of integration or data replications and so on. It is definitely in our internal system, we have seen that, okay, for a given set of data, it is faster than, definitely faster in multiples than the basic ATP. However, as you know that, okay, the customer scenarios could be very different. One customer might be using, let's say, one level of allocation, 2 levels of ABC. Another customer can be using 10 levels of allocation, and there will be 20 different ABC scenarios that that are checked during a single ATP check. So it will be very, very difficult to give a generic answer that, okay, how good is the performance. All I can say is that definitely better than the basic ATP, but it differs from scenario to scenario. So Sanjay asked how to get a jam invite for AATP. Please send me an email and I will invite you there. As long as you as a partner have a non-disclosure agreement with SAP. Is it, next question, is it possible to get the presentation slide deck? Absolutely, yes. We can, I will share the slide deck with you. Next question, for AATP, does all features readily available in S4HANA Advanced ATP? Sorry, S4HANA, does customer require any additional license? Yes. Customer need additional license of Advanced ATP? Yes. All features of readily available. As I say that, okay, we are still under development. There are many features that are already available, and especially the ones that I talked about are already available. However, there are certain functionalities that are in the roadmap. I would suggest to go to roadmaps.sap.com and search for Advanced ATP, and you can see that, okay, what is coming in future. However, whatever I discussed today are there, except the ones that I talked that, okay, that are coming in the 2021 release. The demo that I showed is belonging to 2021 release. So those will come in the 2021 on-premise release, which is coming in Q4 of this year. Next question, demand and supply situation changes all the time. Any best practice benchmark when BOP should be run? Frequency, after certain events happen, MRP run, etc. and so on. Very good question, I would say. Of course, I have seen most of the customers who are running backend processing, they run it in a nightly batch job, right? So they collect all the orders throughout the day, and then they run after backend processing in the night. However, I have also seen there are customers who are running backend processing multiple times a day. In a public cloud environment, there is a very, very small customer who are running backend processing every 10 minutes. I do not say that this is a best practice or any which way, but I have seen that, okay, there are customers who are running backend processing. We also plan to deliver a new functionality called net change filter, which is very, very similar to EDQA, event-driven quantity assignment. That means whenever there are some massive changes in your supply and demand situation, then you can run the automatic trigger of the backend processing. So there is no fixed way of best practice of backend when this backend processing can run, because this changes for customer to customer. What I would say that, okay, whenever there are some major changes in your supply and demand situation, for example, you know that, okay, every day at a particular time, let's say I talk to a customer, they say that, okay, at 2 o'clock every day, I get all the stocks in my warehouse from different trucks that arrive at 2 o'clock, and I freeze that time frame. I do not entertain any confirmation of orders after 2 o'clock. So then you can say that, okay, at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, when I do a cutoff of that, okay, I consider this is my frozen time, and I do a backend processing after that, considering all the and whatever trucks arrive after 2 o'clock, I will put those stock information for the next day. So there are many ways where customers can do trigger backend processing at different point of time. What are the best practice in using all different methods? PAL, ABC, can we activate all the same material groups, locations? Yes, we can activate all the same material group and location for PAL, ABC, and supply protection, and so on. Of course, best practice, we do not have any best practices yet, but yes, it's a very good point. So since we have got 2 questions at least for best practices, I will try to see that, okay, if we can get some best practices to be released soon. Will the new review availability check result screen available on GUI or in sales order screen as well, or available in only Fiori? Yes, you can the review availability check result screen is a Fiori screen. However, you can trigger it from your SAP GUI or directly from your native web business client that you are employing in a browser. If you open your sales order transaction in a browser, of course, an SAP, the Fiori screen automatically opens. But also, if you are using SAP GUI, then also review availability check result screen, but it will open in a browser. It will not open in the SAP GUI screen. Okay, next question for AATP. I saw that there is a high level and lower level item when doing substitution. Would this work in sales BOM or free item levels as well? Very good question. We do not have multi-level ATP yet, which we plan to have in future. As far as sales BOM is concerned, yes, it is supported. However, there are some limitations. Please write in mail to me. I will. There are some limitations of sales BOM support. I will share those information because especially for ABC, sales BOM also create sub items, and sub items of sub items using product allocation is a limitation. So inline substitutions are fine. So there are some limitations for sales BOM. Please send an email to me. I will try to answer you there. Is the AATP available in S4 on-premise as well? Is the required additional license? The answer both to that is yes. S4HANA Advanced ATP is available in S4HANA on-premise. Yes, it requires an additional license. Do you share the material and recording? Answer to that is yes. As SAP partners, can we get an access to SAP demo system with AATP activated? There are demo systems, of course. There are some demo trial systems that are available, and Advanced ATP is there, part of that. Please get in touch with your partner Connect, who will help you to get access to this demo client. How much is the license? Is it once off license fee? Okay, I do not think that I can share the exact license amount here. However, I can say that in the on-premise version, of course, it is a once perpetual license, so that you get the license once and then you pay the maintenance just like you buy any on-premise solution. But in the cloud, of course, it is subscription based. Both in the public cloud as well as private cloud, it is subscription based, where you subscribe to the license annually. Arvind is asking, are you saying that sales order confirmation cannot happen in SAP IBP? No, of course, SAP IBP can do sales order confirmation. In the IBP response and supply, we have sales order confirmation, but it is doing in an offline mode, right? So you get all the sales orders and you are running the IBP confirmation run, and it is running, it is confirming the order in IBP, and those are updated in S4HANA or in ECC, whatever backend system that you're using. What I meant to say is that confirmation can run only in IBP or in Advanced ATP. You cannot run confirmation. You cannot confirm the same order in both the system. You have to choose which system you want to have the confirmation, right? So either you confirm the order in IBP or you confirm the order in ATP. Otherwise, you do not want to find a scenario where you confirm the order in IBP and ATP changes that, right? So in order to avoid that, we recommend that confirmation should happen either in IBP or in ATP. But as I said, since IBP is a more of a planning system and S4 ATP is much more closer to execution, what I have seen customers doing is that they do the planning, especially product allocation planning in IBP, import this information into S4HANA Advanced ATP, and then confirmation happens online in Advanced ATP, considering the product allocation that has been imported from IBP. So this is the scenario that I talked about. Of course, order confirmation can happen both in IBP as well as Advanced ATP. Okay, there are some more questions. There's a question is that you mentioned that there is a future integration with TM. Is there any plan to integrate with LBN? Also, how does AATP check against stock in transit? Meaning, how is stock in transit defined in AATP context? Stock in transit absolutely can be defined in AATP using the scope of check that is available in the scope of check itself. This is easy to answer. Next question is that LBN integration. Fantastic question. I want to integrate LBN with advanced ATP, but we are taking one step at a time. So first, let's do an integration with TM. But the scenarios that I have in mind, of course, integrate with LBN, because you have an order promising considering transportation management restrictions, and then you do a track and trace using LBN. Amazing, right? That provides you the end-to-end order fulfillment. And once we have that, I think we will be the market leader in, means nobody can touch us as far as order promising is concerned, because this will be such an end-to-end scenario, which will be fantastic for many of our customers. But we are starting with TM. LBN and warehouse management integration are in the pipeline, but there is no, we have not started conceptualization or design of that yet. How about licenses of basic and advanced? There is no license for basic ATP. Basic ATP is part of S4HANA Enterprise. Advanced ATP is a separate license. But please note that, okay, whenever we talk about advanced ATP, it has to be in the same S4HANA system. That means if you are in S4HANA on-premise, you have to have advanced ATP on-premise. If you are in S4HANA public cloud, you have to have advanced ATP public cloud. If you are in S4HANA private cloud, you have to have advanced ATP in the private cloud. You cannot do a mix and match. You cannot have S4HANA on-premise and advanced ATP on private cloud. You cannot have that. Next question, IBP response and supply also provide BOP and PAL. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the position difference between AATP and IBP? As I said, ATP does online ATP check. IBP response and supply does an offline ATP check. Of course, BOP and PAL are also available in IBP response and supply, and ATP also has advanced the BOP and PAL. However, as I said, the main difference is online ATP check and offline ATP check. And as I said, IBP is a planning solution, and advanced ATP is an execution solution. It is more closer to execution. So this is not either or. So customers benefit the maximum when both are them working together, right? So they do the planning in IBP response and supply, and they do the execution in advanced ATP. Are all AATP functionality mentioned today also available in public cloud deployment? Answer is yes. All the except supply assignment, everything else is available in the public cloud deployment. Next question is, if a customer has IBP response and supply, then AATP is required. If they want to use AATP, then AATP is required. But AATP is part of S4HANA. It is not part of IBP. So the customer has to have an S4HANA system in order to implement AATP. With that, I do not see any more questions. And also I have overshot the time for 10 minutes. Then I would request you that, okay, if you have any questions, here is my email ID. You can always drop me an email or give me a phone call. I will be very, very happy to respond to you. With that, we can end today's session, and I'm looking forward to work with you all of you, and stay safe and keep smiling. Thank you.